Hello again, guys. It's Gregola Productions here, and welcome to a GPWS short. This is a little bit of an update video on what's going on here in the Gregola mess of a workbench here. Fun times, eh? We'll start off with the, where should we start off? How about the bad news? As everyone knows, we're working on a Westclox Sphinx. In fact, I got another comment on that video today, or the part 2 of the Sphinx series today, saying it was dumb not to use a hand remover. Yeah, it really is probably, well, depends how you use, well, depends how you, how should I say? Depends how you use your screwdrivers in removing hands. It can actually work really well, but in that episode, I forgot to slide the piece of cardboard in between the hands and the dial, and I don't know what I was thinking that day. So yeah, don't follow that hand removal process, because that wasn't how I usually do it, and I'll show how I usually do it in upcoming episodes. Anyway, our Sphinx here has a problem. Now, I was filming part 3 of this series, and there was a, slight issue. Time for Clocks just made a new video on synchronous rotors and electric clocks of the goes from the 1920s through the 50s, but anyway, this you could almost tack this onto that. Be very careful when removing there's a gear that goes on the end of this arbor here, and this here is said gear. If you watched my Westclox Orb series, you'll know how I removed it. And I did the same thing here, but different. I ended up putting this bell, I guess this is technically the bell slash, I don't know, we'll call it the bell. Put the bell in between 2 wooden blocks, did not use the sawhorse, and because I put it in between 2 wooden blocks and had it propped up that way, this was at an angle ever so slightly, and I was unaware of this. So I went in, hammered the gear off with a pin punch, and now trying to reassemble it, and I've been constantly trying to figure out what the heck's the matter with this thing. This is a self-starting synchronous rotor, and because it was hammered, or because it was positioned ever so slightly at an angle, this brass, I don't know if it's a brass collet or this brass something or other, I don't know what. It acts as like a pivot almost. That needs to be exact. That needs to be dead center, or else this rotor will not, this thing has 0 torque on it. If that's not exact, this rotor won't start properly. And this is about as good as I've managed to get it. There were times when it would, this is about as, how should I say? This is about as smooth as I've been able to get this running. And it won't, and even like this, it won't self-start because this is at its, that's not exact. It's not exactly straight. So, I'm not sure if there's any way to correct that. I don't even know do you guys understand what the problem is here? If you I guess this, and I misspoke in the last part of the Westclox Sphinx series. I called this a spinner. This is not a spinner. This is the rotor, and then I'm not sure what the heck this part's called. I had the Watchworks told me, but I can't remember what the heck it is. If you push this in, it'll stop. Usually it would just slide right through, but it'll stop, and then you have to adjust it, and then it will go through. And there's more proof of it not being exactly directly straight, if that makes any sense. I don't know, hope you guys understand the problem here. This was going so well until this got hammered incorrectly, and now that's that little piece of, that little brass, whatchamacallit there, it's not centered anymore. So this thing doesn't start properly. And it doesn't gradually spin down like it usually would. So that's fantastic. That's why there's been no updates in this series for a while, because I've been trying to figure out what's the matter with this thing. Well, now I know what's the matter with it. And there's the update on that one. Eventually I'll start getting this stuff more frequently, viewers, eventually. Plenty of phonograph servicing is happening over here. We're just soaking parts in simple green right now. These parts are absolutely filthy. From about, I don't know, 100 or so years of people just constantly dumping more oil on it. So it's a nightmare to get all the oil off. Over here we've got a Big Ben Style 5 loud alarm being serviced, and I've just cleaned up all the springs and the spring barrels and whatnot. And the reason I didn't record this is because this is a combination of two different Big Ben loud alarms. One's from 1940 and one's from 48, and they're both the luminous variant. So anyway, basically, I'm making a. I've got enough parts to make one clock. So there's two clocks, and I got parts to make one. So that's what I'm doing. So anyway, as you can already tell, this is getting very condescending and confusing. So hence why I'm not filming it. But anyway, there'll be a Big Ben Style 5 loud alarm that's luminous running by the end of this. Does this look like, and here, oh, actually, well, here's the top plate. Does this look like it's got lacquer on it still? Look at that, it's got that gray kind of substance that the sleep meter had. I think I'm going to invest in getting some lacquer thinner. I don't know, this seems this is really clean otherwise. We've almost perfected my cleaning method by this point. And you know our cleaning method must be working somewhat if we got a working clock out of it. Yes, sir, viewers, the clock that we were cleaning in the Homebrew Cleaning Solutions series, that's it right there. It's running. It's been going for a full week now. Now, this is a 1935 Westclox sleep meter. This is the, this is a Canadian clock. I'm not sure what the case is made out of in this one. The alarm does not work, but as you can hear, the clock itself is running, and I think that's because there's an issue with the spring. I'm not entirely sure. But by the time I figured that out, the clock was running. As you can hear, it's running really well. I figured I'm not gonna pull this apart again, because by that point I already had it lubricated and everything. So I've learned a lot from working on this clock here, and it's great to see it running after all that. And yeah, we did get it cleaned properly, so that's great. So as you can see, viewers, this is a testament to me actually getting something done on this channel. And while I'm making this video, I'll bring up two more little points. Don't buy riveted together Westclox dollar watches for two reasons. Number one, the crappy aluminum plates, and number two, you can't even salvage a balance wheel out of these things. Look at the super glue on there. I don't know, Westclox started changing their glue, it appears, when we entered the riveted watch era. That stuff's pink. It's usually kind of a cherry red color. Even on these style 8 baby bends that are held together with nuts, and you can actually disassemble those, the glue on there is a cherry red color, and you can remove it with nail polish remover or isopropyl alcohol. In this case, I've tried both and neither works. So that is stuck in there, and if you know anything about hairsprings, you can't pull on it or else you'll completely ruin the shape. And that almost happened to me with the other riveted together watch, but thankfully that, we didn't get that far. So don't even waste your time with these. If it's screwed together, that's a different story, and if it has brass plates, that's a different story. But these riveted together ones, unless they're like on the side of the road or something, I honestly would not waste time with these things. I've wasted a lot of energy trying to figure out what the heck to do with this thing. If someone has some fantastic method of even salvaging the hairspring and balance wheel out of this, I'd be glad to hear it. Our final point today for this little spiel is this Style 1 Westclox spur. Now, this one is a fairly common clock. The paint is in great shape, though, and the time function and the alarm function work great on this clock. But the problem is, it's not serviced. And like your car, you wouldn't leave it for 65 years without actually servicing it. I can't believe, and for some reason, people seem to have this idea that you can leave your clock for 150 years and it'll continue to run fine without a single service or anything like that. So this clock needs a service if it's going to run. Problem is, there is a screw on this side of the case that is completely stripped, and it's got a little bit of glue on there too. I don't think that'll be that big of a deal to get off. And as you can see, there's been attempts by others to get this screw out of the case here. The paint is scratched a little bit. All the other screws are fine. They come out perfect. On the bottom there's one there. The ones on the back, they're good. They're not even screwed in that tightly. It's just this one. Oh, whoops, it's on the other side. It's just this one that won't let you take it out of the, well, you can't disassemble it. You have to get all the screws out. There's no way around this. Now, I was thinking, and this is not a method, and this is why I even brought any of this up, because I don't want to do some kind of Westclox sacrilege here. Take all the screws out and bend the case, like, I don't know how to even explain this. I suppose I'd bend it forward and then try and turn it, because I feel that this screw would actually turn with the case, because that's how tightly it's screwed in. And as I said, the head is stripped, and that glue isn't really a big deal. It's just the screw head that's stripped. I don't know. I don't have a drill that I can come in with and maybe saw that off, or saw the head off there and drill a new hole in there. I don't know. Maybe I should get a drill instead. Or does someone else have some other idea? Hence why I brought this little dilemma up. I wouldn't have brought it up otherwise. So yeah, I guess if anyone. This is so typical of my videos to end them off like this. If anyone has any good ideas, please say so in the comments. I don't want to mess up this clock, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see it in jeopardy either. So yeah, remove the screw. How should it happen? Bend the case and turn it, or bend it forward and turn. I don't even know how that if that would even work. I don't know. It's all up in the air right now for this clock. So anyway, that's the quote-unquote update video, just working on phonographs, or one phonograph and a Big Ben Style 5, while trying to also figure out what to do with the Westclox Sphinx with its damaged, or no, it's not damaged, with its offset brass collet thing, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't appear to be a collet. And all the other things you saw. So yes, that is the GPWS update for what has been going on over here, and why the videos have been coming out a lot slower than usual. And I know I'm not obligated to upload, but still, I kind of had a nice rhythm going where I'd upload like 3 times a week. That was not, that worked fine with my schedule, but just because of bigger projects happening here. And dilemmas in various categories. That is what is going on. So anyway, viewers, whoa, that was terrible. So anyways, viewers, we'll leave it all there for now, and we'll see you in the next episode of the GPWS.